We now get underway with our first of 3 heats for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Here is your starting grid. On pole position from time qualifying earlier on today, which was split by thousands. Rasmus van der Boo starts on pole position with Enzo Bol alongside him on the front row. Carl Gustav Borgaard and Tom Braken round out row 2. Lucas Pernot and Jules Cousin rounding out row number 3. Martin Zianovskis and Enzo Boulogne round out the top 4 rows, with Patrick Knowles-Lockmellis and DD2 Masters pole sitter Nikolaj Christensen from Denmark. Nicolas Guillaume and Thomas Piet round out the top 6 rows ahead of Karl Clevort and Dominic Hummels on row number 7. Row 8, it's Sebastian Humpelhut and Tim Nikemetz. Michael Becker and Jordi Clevort on row 9. Jori Westerleken and Thierry de Jong on row 10, completing the top 20. Fabian Bock, Lennart Schreiber, Christoph Adams, Luca Neuenhausen, Robert Schoppian, Chris Kopp, Hannes Bodder, Juris Salaitis, Frederik Beckert, and Albert Heumann rounding out the 30-strong grid. So 10 minutes plus an additional lap will decide this particular race, and also see who will be getting the initial advantage after the opening race of the weekend. With the red lights on the gantry, the Rotax engines will now start to gather pace as they go up the rev range. Lights are out. We are underway for Heat 1 for DD2 and DD2 Masters. Good start by Rasmus van der Boo. Enzo Bol looking towards the outside as Carl Borgaard looks to get through for second position. Oh, but Enzo Bol cheekily uses the runoff area, which he can do on the opening lap, and he's got tagged twice from Rasmus van der Boo. Oh my goodness me, I've never seen that happen coming out of turn 3, as it's all starting to concertina through turn number 6 on the opening time. Enzo Bol was able to use the runoff area to his advantage, and Rasmus van der Boo was definitely 100% not happy with that. But what he's got to do now, calm down, refocus, and go for broke and try and get through. What's more, at the front of the train, it's Enzo Bol, his teammate, his young teammate, who also made the move to DD2 this year, Tom Braken, if people might remember, 2018 Micromax BNL Karting Series champion, now decided to make the move up to DD2 as well. A 4-way scrap heading into turns 1 and 2 on the opening, second lap of the race, which involves Lucas Pernot. I think even I saw a very, very bare white front fairing belonging to a certain Praga chassis, Thomas Piet in the 505, who is battling away with Nikolaj Christensen. That is for the race lead in DD2 Masters. Some overtakes happening a little bit further behind, going through into turn 7 off of the Europlan, as we are just over 90 seconds in, so under 8.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Enzo Bol leads the way, but it's not by much, or is he now leading? No, he's not, because Carl Borgaard has got the lead. Rasmus van der Boo back up into second, but keep your eyes on the 2 young chargers behind. 5th place, it's Winter Cup champion from this year, Patrick Knowles-Lockmellis. He's got Jules Cousin from France right up his exhaust pipe at the moment. And then Martin Zianovskis, Lucas Pernot, who I found out, big thanks to Jordan Chamberlain for finding this information out for me when I caught up with him on Thursday, said that Lucas actually started his racing career as a DD2, but then decided, I'll give senior a try, and tried that at the Winter Cup. Bit of a learning experience, I might add. But you know what? It's good to have a little bit of variety. They do say it is the spice of life. But all 30 drivers still circulating as we're about to complete lap number 3. Carl Gustav Borgaard leads the way ahead of fellow compatriot from Denmark, Rasmus Vendelbo. Enzo Boll and Tom Bracken holding the stand motorsport flag high in 3rd and 4th respectively. Patrick Snolls-Lockmelis has just had Jules Cousin up the inside, and the Frenchman's got through for 5th. Nicely done through turn number 2. Nikolai Christensen now has a bit more of an advantage. There's a little bit of signalling going on between Martin Zianovskis and Lucas Bernot. Lucas was actually doing the signalling. But the top 4 were covered by just over 6.5 tenths last time around. As there you see the Minimax drivers for the second heat getting ready in the dummy grid. Through into turns 1 and 2 again. They go on to lap number 5. So just behind Lucas Bernot and Martin Zianovskis, you've got Nicolas Guillaume and also Nikolai Christensen, who still at this moment is leading the DD2 Masters class by 0.49 of a second. Now that was an FM racing kart. I think that might have been Robert Chorpian that was going around the outside and 2 wheels onto the grass outside of turn number 6 onto the Europlan. Enzo Boll now trying to see if he can attack Rasmus Vendelbo for that second place. 5 minutes and 30 still on the time remaining. Top 4 still covered by just under 3/4 of a second. Martin Zianovskis still keeping with Lucas Bernot, who is in turn trying to close that gap to Patrick Snolls-Lockmelis. And that gap now is the best part of nearly 0.8 of a second. So the Canadian running with KR Sport. He's not the only Canadian here this weekend. Ryan Gandor is running in Minimax this weekend. So 4 minutes and 50 seconds still to go on the timer. Gustav Borgaard continuing to hold on to that lead, and that's further extended because Rasmus Vendelbo has been pipped by both Tom Bracken, who's now up into 2nd. 3rd place, it's Enzo Boll. They now roll their way out of turn 12. Lockmelis trying to close in on Jules Cousin for 5th place. Lucas Bernot still holding on to 7th. Zianovskis, Nicolas Guillaume and Nikolai Christensen still rounding at the top 10. Not at all a surprise to see drivers of DD2 Masters calibre actually being at the sharper end of the grid. We've seen that from the likes of Nicolas Picot in recent times, Ian Getz, Carl Clebot, and even a few years ago, Christoph Adams. Christoph Adams is about a second behind Lennart Schreiber in the DD2 Masters classification. The 555, the most decorated Grand Finals qualifier in history, 15 times, 16 if you include the cancelled Grand Finals for 2020. 3 minutes and 45 seconds still to go on the timer. Borgaard has stretched the lead. It was 9.5 tenths. It now does it increase to just over a second? 1.246 separates 1st from 3rd place as Enzo Boll rounds out the top 3. Rasmus Vendelbo in 4th, Jules Cousin in 5th. No changes all the way through to around, well, pretty much the entire grid at the moment. Luca Neuenhausen, who I remember first meeting when he was running in Project T20. Not having a great race as the Dutchman in 488. Started 24th, now currently languishing down in 29th position, so it's been a bit of a difficult one for him. Borgaard is still continuing to push further forward. Fastest lap of the race, however, is by the driver in 8th position, Martin Zianovskis, 53.985 seconds. In the previous lap, Bracken was faster than Boll. On this particular occasion, well, Enzo Boll fractionally quicker than his teammates. Gap now down to 0.8 between 1st and 2nd position. Nikolai Christensen gets past Nicolas Guillaume for 9th place and still continues to have a few karts in front of him. Karl Clebot, in the meantime, has gotten up into second in DD2 Masters. He's got through on Thomas Piet for 2nd place at the 5:02. Karl Clebot, affectionately known in these parts as the baker. He is a baker by trade, but he is a very, very fast baker as well, in terms of being very handy as a wheelman on a kart. Thomas Piet, Sebastian Rumpelhardt, and Dominic Hummels ran out the top 5 at the moment. They complete the top 16 overall. Just under 2 minutes to go. Borgard is trying to keep his head down. He puts in the fastest lap for the briefest of moments, and then Enzo Boll takes that by 24 thousandths of a second and says, "Hold my soft drink, why don't you?" But don't count out Rasmus Vendelbo, folks, because he has been keeping both Bracken and Boll very, very honest. The Dane has been on pace. Top 10 at the moment, covered by less than 5.6 seconds. With a minute and 10 still to go on the clock, plus an additional lap. I still think there could be some exciting things happening between 2nd, 3rd and 4th very, very soon. I'll see the timer ahead of them. Borgard crosses the line. The gap was 8.5 tenths of a second. It's now 7.5 tenths. So Bracken has picked up the pace and in the process picked up the fastest lap of the race, 53.838. Patrick Snols-Lockmelis down in 6th position, sets a personal best, 53.979. He says it's always a difficult circuit here at Genk because you never know where you stand until you go racing. And now he's got an idea that he's running in the top 10. So hopefully, as the track has evolved, there's a lot of marbles off of the racing line here at Karting Genk, particularly say parts such as the outskirts of turn 9, the outskirts of turn 8, and even the final corner at turn number 12. Vendelbo out of turn 11. Another circuit of this 1003 as Van Vendelbo trying to go side by side with Enzo Boll across the line. And they are literally nip and tuck. Vendelbo was 7/1000ths behind and now he's ahead of him. Through into 3rd place by Rasmus Vendelbo as Enzo Boll now trying to fight back. Time has expired. This and one more lap to go. Lap 11 of lap 12 out of 13. Enzo Boll got a great run coming out of turn 6 onto the Europlan. And now he sends it up the inside through turn 7. Can Vendelbo counter-attack? Not quite. Now he's going to try and do that. Bumps over the curbs through turn 8. Loses a little bit of momentum. I did say there was going to be some exciting things happening between 2nd and 4th. And it's happened at the lower part of it. So, one more corner remains. Rasmus Vendelbo is going to try and see if he can get past Enzo Boll. But Carl Gustav Borgard leads the way onto the final and 13th lap. Tom Bracken, 7 tenths behind. Boll, Vendelbo, Cousin, Lockmelis, Pernod, Janowskis, Christensen leading DD2 Masters in 9th. And Enzo Boulogne in 10th position. I think Vendelbo will have a couple more opportunities, maybe turn 10 and turn 12. If he gets a bit deeper into the braking zones, uses Enzo Boll as a bit of a yardstick and measuring tool, if you will. No board markers here in karting. It's all about knowing your braking points and using maybe the person in front of you as a reference point. So, Carl Gustav Borgard, the minute he hit the front, he has not looked back. Out of the final corner, it's going to be a win for Denmark. Carl Gustav Borgard wins for DD2, ahead of Tom Bracken, Enzo Boll and Rasmus Vendelbo. Jules Cousin, Patrick Snols-Lockmelis, Lucas Pernod and Martin Janowskis ran at the top 8. Enzo Boulogne, and it's a double victory for Denmark, courtesy of Nikolai Christensen in 10th position in DD2 Masters. Karl Clebot was 2.3 seconds behind in 11th position, but wraps up the runner-up spot in DD2 Masters. Tim Metz, Sebastian Rumpelhardt, Fabian Bock and Thomas Piet rounding out the top 15 overall. Dominic Hummels, Jody Westerlaken, Jody Clebot, Thierry de Jong, Chris Kopp, Christoph Adams, Hannes Border, Michael Becker, Robert Chopian, Albert Heumann, Then we've got Luca Neuenhausen, Frederick Baker, Julius Elitis, Lennart Schreiber, unfortunately retiring with 2 laps to go, and Nicolas Guillaume out on lap number 9.